I am Robert Jones, Department Chair for Hospitality and Retail Management. My research really focuses on two main areas, and that is the shopper and brands. Shoppers look for brands. It's a very important part of their decision-making process, so we spend a lot of time trying to merge those two areas together to really understand what is the role of a brand when shoppers are making their choices right at retail. And that's really what the shopper research looks at, different than consumer research, is decision-making at the point of purchase. Well, academically, shopper as a category of research is relatively new. It's really only been around a little over a decade. So there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of understanding about shoppers versus consumers. So any research that comes out right now makes a tremendous amount of impact. One of the things that we're looking at right now is really exploring values and how values shape how shoppers make their choices. Professionally, if we go out into industry, they've been a little further ahead on shoppers than we have. So what we've done is try to present a lot of research through organizations like the Category Management Association, where the actual industry professionals themselves get to hear how our academic research can really either validate some of the things they're doing or point them in a different direction that perhaps we see might yield better results. So one of my favorite courses to teach, and when I take the opportunity every time I get to teach it, is consumer behavior. And again, shoppers are different from consumers, but they are within that consumer realm. So a lot of what I get the opportunity to do is to help students really understand what consumer behavior is from their own perspective. How do they behave as a consumer? And then introduce them to the whole topic of shoppers and how it is those decisions might be different when they're at the point of purchase. So that's really one of my favorite courses to teach. I also like to teach the theoretical courses to our graduate students and make sure they understand the value of theory and how to create theory and what is a good use of theory as they look forward into their research. One of the most exciting things about working on shopper research, as we've mentioned, is it's really a wide open area to be exploring. So one of the things that we do is I tend to introduce graduate students to my research, and they can see some of the areas we've already explored, and we can sort of steer them towards some of the upcoming projects. But what happens almost without exception is they'll find some new niche that has not been explored that relates to some of my ongoing research, and they go off on their own and they develop a whole new stream of research. So it's a really exciting opportunity to come here and to work as a graduate student, because you're not going to be held to my particular stream of research. You're going to get the opportunity to pick up and explore things on your own. We have two big projects that are underway right now, and one is values of shoppers. So trying to really identify what values shoppers hold as important and how those shape the decisions that they make at retail. The other one is the fMRI studies, where we're doing experimental research into the workings of the brain and how it functions differently when you are putting somebody in the decision-making process versus someone when you're putting them in a consumer behavior. So again, asking them a question about something perhaps as, what's your favorite, would be a consumer question, versus giving them a scenario where they've got to make a decision on what to purchase. So those are the two biggest ones. The work we're preparing for the next one down the road is we're working on voice. So how does voice-activated assistance impact the retail environment? And that's the next big line of research we've got coming out. But in my role as the president of the American Collegiate Retailing Association, I have entree to all the major research institutions across the United States. So we have ongoing collaborations with programs at Oklahoma State, Montclair State, University of South Carolina. So yes, there's tremendous opportunity to do research collaborations well beyond the walls of Texas Tech. So when we're doing shopper exploration, we recently published a paper where we looked at how culture influences shopper decision making. We're moving forward along that line and doing some specific research related to the Hispanic shopper and how it is their decisions might be different at retail. We're also trying to explore some exciting new avenues about demonstrating physiologically what is the difference between a shopper and consumer. So we're very lucky here at Texas Tech to have an fMRI research lab where we'll be doing research on actually exploring the brain and which different areas are activating in the brain when you're in a shopping scenario versus a consumer scenario. So we have a great breadth from qualitative to quantitative research using very technical equipment like fMRIs, all in pursuit of getting a better understanding of who is the shopper and how do they make their decisions.